Hey guys, Sand here with another actual long-form video. Yeah, sorry for clickbaiting you last time. Now let's start the video. Today's video will be all about frame and how to improve it. Have you ever wondered why some people fit clothes so well? They could wear almost anything and look amazing without any effort. And when your skinny friend aims for the same style, the end result isn't so flattering. Or why some athletes barely find it hard to look elite even with considerably less muscle mass. Remember that one kid at high school who barely went to the gym, didn't even have a membership, but still ended up dwarfing all the other young men in class and getting all the female attention alone? One word to explain this: it is frame. Frame is one of the most dimorphic features in the body, for both males and females. And whilst muscles and being lean are both important, if your frame is extremely thin, it doesn't matter if you're muscular. Always remember, no frame, no game. Don't believe me? See this study from January 2023 for yourself. 659 female heterosexual subjects were gathered and asked to assess their perception of males with different shoulder to hip ratios and heights. Men with heights ranging from 5'3" to 6'3" were shown to the subjects. For each height, 3 different variations of shoulder to hip ratio were shown. Results showed that women viewed taller men and men with larger SHR as more attractive, and of course more masculine, and were imagined to be better at fighting. Now this doesn't come to surprise. Just look at any great fighter out there. Conor McGregor, for example. His shoulders to hip ratio is insane, with a wingspan as large as individuals who are 6'2" whilst being 5'9". This is what propelled his career into the world stage. But if you look at his older fights, you don't see this. So, what did McGregor unknowingly do? Well, here are some simple steps you can take to improve your frame. Number 1, muscle mass. It is no joke that increasing your muscle mass will enhance your frame. Just look at any actor who undergoes body changes to be on set. But you're not here for that. Let's talk about what matters. Start training your shoulders, neck, traps, chest, lats, and back. And many people often just enter the gym. Spam some exercises and wonder why they never get results. Number 2, posture. If we look at many individuals with a bad posture, and they often tend to have a bad frame too, whilst the opposite goes for people with good frames, starring good posture. This happens because of Wolff's Law. Bone adapts to the force it's placed under, and slowly it starts to change shape. And this, especially during development, can stunt both your height and clavicle length. Fix your posture by strengthening the correct muscles and stretching and massaging the tight ones causing issues. You will see difference in a matter of days. Number 3, stomach vacuums. This one is a tip many bodybuilders often use. Stomach vacuums can improve posture, reduce back pain, and make your waist smaller through tightening the muscles responsible for doing so. Here's a quick guide to perform stomach vacuums.
A little platform that you can kind of bend over onto, and then what you want to do is breathe all the air out and then pull your belly button to your spine. You want to do this for about 10 seconds. You want to try and hold it for as long as you possibly can. Work up to holding it for 10 to 20 seconds.
Number 4, Steve Reeves deadlift. Steve Reeves was one of the most reputable bodybuilders of the golden era. His amazing physique and wide shoulders earned him the role of Hercules and made him one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood at the time. Steve had his own lift that he practiced in a peculiar way, in which he attested his shoulder width to. It was a normal deadlift with a peculiar adjustment. It improves grip strength, wrist size, clavicle width, and wingspan. So, how do you do it? First, take a typical deadlift position. Then instead of gripping the barbell, take an extremely wide grip. If the barbell is short enough, preferably holding the rims of the plates outside the collars of the bar. Then, as you complete the full range of motion, shrug. The Reeves shrug is the most neglected aspect of this exercise, which actually decides whether or not you get shoulder development. This targets ligaments, joints, and muscles, which promote growth in the ribcage and clavicles further, your shoulder size and breadth. Add this to your workouts and tell us the results in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying this. Let's move on to next point. Number 5, ribcage expansion. So yes, this is possible, you heard that right. We sort of saved the best for last. But first of all, a little anatomy lesson to get some stuff straight. This is the human rib cage. Now, the way we're going to expand our rib cage and improve our frame is through these parts joining each of the ribs to each other. This is what's otherwise known as costal cartilage. Now, I'm sure you know what cartilage is. It's in your nose and ears. But let's talk about the types. There's 3 of them, hyaline cartilage, elastic cartilage, fibrocartilage. Now what we'll focus on is hyaline cartilage, as this is the type that costal cartilage is. Hyaline cartilage is of the most common in the body. Nose cartilage is made out of hyaline cartilage. Your growth plates are made out of hyaline cartilage. Your respiratory tract is made out of hyaline cartilage. It's smooth, flexible, and can be produced easily by the body, and is a precursor to bone, which we'll be putting emphasis on. When bone formed in the process called endochondral ossification, first, the body forms a hyaline cartilage model of the bone, which will be formed. This is the blueprint for what the bone will look like. Then, certain parts start to calcify and attract bone-forming cells called osteoblasts. Then blood vessels start to branch in to supply the growing bone. Gradually, after a few other processes, the whole bone calcifies and forms. What we're going to do is stretch our rib cage and induce growth in the costal cartilage through hormonal, nutritional, and mechanical factors, and it's been proven scientifically. And by the way, if you're between the ages of 15 to 30 years old, your rib cage hasn't fully ossified and you can pack on actual bone density and mass, as it's generally scientifically observed that the costal cartilage in the rib cages of men approaching 30 years of age begins to calcify. And if not, you can still get more bone density and stretch your cartilage. The methods we're going to discuss can literally even enhance collarbone and clavicle size and length, as they will follow the growth of the rib cage. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger himself once said that he's seen way too many men expand their rib cage to believe that it's a hoax. And that's what the golden era bodybuilders actually did back in the day. There's a few forgotten essential techniques to get them ready for stage, along with, of course, their best friend, steroids, but we're talking about frame here. Now that we have all the information necessary to know what we'll be aiming to do, let's get to the good part. So, what would be the way we'd target our costal cartilage to stretch out our ribcage cartilage and make our ribcage larger? We're going to use the power of targeted breathing. Through certain exercises and positioning, we can promote breathing through the respiratory intercostal muscles, which when utilized correctly can induce massive changes in the costal cartilage, so much so it's literally like taking a hand and expanding your ribcage inside out. Now onto the exercises. These are some golden era classics. Enter dumbbell pullovers and breathing squats. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger crowned the dumbbell pullover as his favorite for chest development. Here's an easy guide on how to do dumbbell pullovers for those of you at home. First, get on a bench, as shown in these images. Whilst pushing the buttocks and legs down, you can also try some other positions. But this is our favorite. Now arch the chest over the bench, with the head and shoulders off the bench. Keep your elbows slightly bent and not locked outwards to prevent shoulder injury. Let the weight back and down as deep as you can. At the same time as you do this, open your mouth and take the deepest breath you can. So deep, you have to push yourself more and more to get in more air. Remember, this is not a muscle building exercise, and use 15 to 35 pounds or 7 to 11 kilograms for optimal growth. This exercise is for rib cage, and we are not trying to grow muscles here. Since it's lightweight, yep, you got it right, it will be high reps. 15 reps for 3 sets should be sufficient. Now for the second exercise, breathing squats. This exercise is one of the most strenuous exercises in bodybuilding ever, due to the breathlessness it creates, which will trigger your intercostal muscles to expand during the rapid breaths this exercise causes. First, load a barbell with an appropriate weight you can handle. Beginners can start with lighter weights, while more advanced lifters can use heavier loads. Make sure the barbell is secured on a squat rack at an appropriate height. Then, stand under the barbell with your feet shoulder width apart. Position the barbell across your upper back, resting it on your trapezius muscles. Grip the barbell with your hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Now, for an important step. Engage your core muscles by bracing your abdominals and lower back. Maintain a neutral spine position throughout the exercise. Now for a rep. Take a deep breath and brace your core. Begin the descent by bending your knees and hips simultaneously. Lower your body towards the ground, keeping your chest up and your back straight. For the squat depth, descend until your thighs are parallel to the ground or slightly below, ensuring your knees track in line with your toes. Maintain control and stability throughout the movement. Here comes the breathing part. At the bottom of the squat, exhale fully. Then, take a deep breath and hold it as you prepare to ascend. When going back up, drive through your heels and push upward to return to the starting position. Keep your chest up and your back straight as you rise. Now for reps. Complete as many repetitions as you need to feel wrecked. Typically 20 for breathing squats for about 3 sets. Focus on maintaining proper form and breathing rhythm throughout the set. Once you're done, catch your breath and prepare for any additional sets or exercises. A lot of people like supersetting this exercise with the dumbbell pullovers as they provide constant stimulation to the rib cage from different angles. Over time, as you get stronger, gradually increase the weight used for breathing squats as you become more comfortable with the exercise. Focus on maintaining proper form and breathing technique at all times for the best results. We hope if you've got to this stage of the video you're loving it. Please do be sure to leave us a subscribe, like, and a comment for support and ideas for future videos, as we have so much on our heads. But this isn't the end, not yet. A very important factor is missing: nutrition and hormones. However, in short, sunlight exposure for up to 60 to 90 minutes a day, adequate sleep, exercise, and specifically sprinting or jumping rope as a substitute can skyrocket growth factors. Sprinting in combination with dietary protein has been shown to increase HGH with percentages up to 300% directly. There's a special type of bee product called royal jelly. Royal jelly is like honey on steroids. However, female bee larvae who are chosen or destined to become a queen bee are fed with large quantities of royal jelly. This triggers a cascade of molecular events resulting in the normal bee developing into a queen bee. This phenomenon is caused by an epigenetic modification of DNA known as CpG methylation, where certain chemicals weave around specific genes in the genome, causing them to be overexpressed or silenced. In this case, silencing worker bee genes and activating queen bee ones. What's interesting is royal jelly doesn't have magic in it. It's simply just made up of high-quality carbs, protein, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. Think of it like this: the added nutrients activate certain genes in you. For example, if your ancestors were warriors, the added nutrients will rather silence peasant genes and activate warrior ones. And if you're not a fan of the bro science, I have made a post on my Instagram page proving this with multiple studies, which will be linked in the description. Royal jelly is also filled with a relaxing neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. This is what makes it slightly sting on your tongue, which can actually tell you the quality of the royal jelly itself. Neurotransmitters are chemical signals that allow neurons to communicate with each other, meaning this could literally alter your mood. Acetylcholine also causes feelings of relaxations. This study found that acetylcholine can produce fast and sharp relaxation, and which increased vasodilation in blood vessels. This can give your cartilage and bones the necessary blood flow needed for their growth. Royal jelly was even found to reverse menopause in women by hiring estrogen and progesterone, and reduce estrogen and its bad effects in younger men and women. Shit's literally magical. This one study, conducted on 61 healthy volunteers aged 42 to 83 years, were enrolled and were randomly divided into a royal jelly group and a control group. The royal jelly group was given 3,000 NG jars of royal jelly, and the control a placebo in a 100 milliliter liquid. Both ingested their administered substance for 6 months. What was also observed was that royal jelly accelerated conversion from DHEAS to testosterone. DHEAS, by the way, is a precursor of testosterone that is made then converted into testosterone. That means higher testosterone for men. Another study from Oxford academics suggested that royal jelly as a whole, or some of its individual components, stimulates production of type 1 collagen and other activities for bone formation through action on osteoblasts. This means it could help you develop a bigger rib cage through hyaline cartilage growth, since cartilage is heavily influenced by collagen synthesis. However, not all royal jelly is created equally. The composition is highly altered by climate and geographical factors anyway. So how can we get the best, most nutritious, stingy royal jelly? But I can vouch for the royal jelly from my friends at Aesthetic Alimentum. The reason being they're simply on another notch, and they're based in the Netherlands, where the weather is perfect for this kind of stuff. You can use code SAND for 15% off on your order. It's cheaper to get it from him for me personally, as I've tried local beekeepers, who will often just overprice it because they know it's hard to handle. Their royal jelly is sourced straight from their best local Dutch beekeeper, kept in the fridge and completely raw and not heat treated. When it's heated up or frozen by companies that sell it, it makes most nutrients reach a burning point and all of the rare proteins denature. The problem is with most suppliers of royal jelly is that they don't understand how to properly store it, source it, and worst of all, process it. Generic suppliers won't store royal jelly in the fridge, as after 8-10 days at incorrect temperature, it loses most its nutritional value. Most Amazon suppliers store it at room temperature, so it is devoid of most nutritional content, and that is found even in the best of them. The worst of all is people selling royal jelly in its powdered form. This lacks all the bioavailability, enzymes, and nutritional content that royal jelly provides. Not all royal jelly is the same. Well, now for nutrients, as we're focusing on cartilage being collagenous itself, we're going to need to uptake the consumption of the amino acids that cartilage is made of. What better way to get this from the bones or cartilage from a living animal itself? Now this can be done with consuming traditional cuisine made with scrap meat, like bone broth. Bone broth can be made at home with some simple ingredients, but it takes 12 hours, and that's honestly not affordable and too time consuming. Wow! Just imagine the gas bills. Cooking bone broth basically cooks up the collagen from the chosen animal and turns it into gelatin. Gelatin contains just the correct amino acid blend for synthesizing collagen, since gelatin is essentially just cooked collagen. Now, because bone broth takes too long to cook, you can visit the link in description and get the grass-fed, premium quality beef gelatin, which I also can vouch for. It's only sourced from grass-fed cows, which means you won't be consuming any toxic byproducts of cows that are raised on soy and corn-based feed. Only grass, the intended natural way. Corn-based feed raises the amount of polyunsaturated fats in the cow's body and has amino acids, which aren't even the ones prominent in human collagen, which damages the quality and benefit you will get of the gelatin you consume. It's also from my friends at Aesthetic Alimentum. By the time this is uploaded, you'll have missed the spring sale. No worries. Use code SAND for 15% off on all products. Gelatin powder is an easy, quick way to get the essential blend of healthy amino acids, just like glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, and others which have insane benefits, such as increased collagen synthesis. Such as this study that showed supplementation of gelatin and vitamin C increased the amounts of circulating glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, and hydroxylysine in the blood only after 1 hour since supplementation, while supplementing only 5 or 15 grams of gelatin showed increased collagen content and improved mechanics of ligaments and cartilage. Subjects who took 15-gram gelatin 1 hour before exercise showed double the amino acid and propeptides of collagen type 1 in their blood, meaning collagen synthesis was being increased. This is exactly what you'd want on a regimen that increases cartilage. This will for sure skyrocket your frame gains through the roof. We hope applying every single one of these can help you improve your frame and achieve the frame you aspire to get. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. We post about all types of info on how to improve your body, attractiveness, and health, all whilst optimizing your body's functions to make you perform better. Follow me on Instagram at @grains or click the link in the description for information that is too spicy for YouTube to handle. Check out my Linktree for a free guide on facial structure maxing if you're interested in having both an admirable face and physique. By the way, Aesthetic Alimentum has a frame and height guide along with a hormone optimization guide, so if you're really serious about all of this, you can cop one of those 2 courses or both real fast with 15% off with code SAND.